Today, we are going to be talking about something very, very near and dear to me, and also something that's very applicable and important in today's life, especially. If you understand the universal law that influence is leadership, so in order to be able to impact and influence people in a positive light and leave some sort of meaning or legacy behind in this life, that you have to get into leadership and you have to do it at a high level, then this video is for you. My name is Marshall Weinberg. I've led countless people in sales industries. We've had a ton of success, multiple millions of dollars in sales being made every single year as we continue to grow, which I'm extremely grateful for. So I'm excited to be able to break down some leadership principles to you today. Here are the top 3 leadership principles I have. That's what I'm gonna be going over. Now, before I jump into that, it's funny because I always think of leadership and it reminds me of, this is a while ago. It was me and some buddies, and we were skiing. I used to ski earlier in my life, and we were skiing. We're all pretty good skiers, right? There's like 4 or 5 of us. It's a super, super snowy day. It's a blizzard. Like, we shouldn't even be on the mountain skiing. We get up to the top of the mountain, okay, and there's this one guy, I'm not gonna say his name. There's one guy, he always leads us, he always directs us, always points us on where to go whenever we're skiing together. We get to the top of this mountain. It's like probably 5 degrees outside. Can't see the hand in front of your face. Like, it is super, super blizzard mode, okay? We're on this mountain, we get off the lift, and the lift operator tells us, hey, it's a blizzard right now, we can't operate the lifts anymore. We're shutting down the lifts, get down to the bottom of the mountain. We're like, okay, yeah, whatever. Piss off, who cares? Like, we know how to ski, okay? We don't need Mr. Lift Operator guy, 300 pounds, to just tell us what to do. We know how to ski, okay? We're not gonna listen to him, okay? We didn't listen to him. We should have listened to him, we didn't listen to him, okay? So we go, we ski around the mountain for a little bit, and then it gets worse outside, it gets even worse outside, and we get lost. We're lost. There's oak trees everywhere, or not oak trees, but oak trees and evergreen trees everywhere. Shouting to each other, oh yeah, can't hear each other, can't hear nothing, right? All while this unnamed person is leading us, oh, I know the way, follow me here. So we follow him, and we follow him for at least an hour, freezing, right? At least an hour, and we end up doing a full loop back around to where we originally got lost at. Long story short, we got pissed, and we all started arguing with each other, and we all split up and did the most genius thing ever. We all went our separate ways, and we all somehow, one way or another, some point in time or another, got back to safety, I guess you could say, right? But we were all pretty mad at each other. It was a lot of, screw you, you don't know what you're talking about, you don't know this, some punches thrown. It wasn't a good situation. It's funny to look back on now, but that all really started from bad leadership. From bad leadership. Imagine if in that story, if somebody would have been leading correctly, instead of us not getting to our destination and all of us getting pissed off at each other and splitting up, imagine if the person went, I know exactly where to go, or maybe I don't know where to go, let's come together and make a plan and figure out where to go, and everybody would have not gotten pissed off at each other, everyone would have gotten to the same destination, and everyone would have gotten there with a whole lot of less headache if there was a proper leader in that situation. That probably reminds you of a time in your life where you were being led incorrectly, where you were being led and it felt like your voice didn't mean anything, where you're being led and you felt like you didn't know where to go, and you felt like you knew that the leader didn't know where they were going either, but they just didn't admit that to you. You felt like that everybody was in chaos and no one was in congruency with each other and everybody was arguing with each other and there was just a complete lack of direction. You guys just ended up splitting up and never ever getting back together or getting to where your destination and where your goals and dreams and visions were. If that sounds familiar, that's why having leadership is important. It's not just leadership, but good leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. Everything. You need a leader in all aspects of your life. If you want to grow to a higher level, then you need to listen to people and get led by people that are performing at a higher level than you in whatever respective field that we're talking about. That's why people have lifting coaches. That's why people have diet coaches. That's why people have financial coaches. That's why people have, pastors that they listen to. You always have to find good leaders in your life in whatever respective field you're trying to grow into. So again, if you're trying to positively impact or influence people and change their lives, which is truly the only meaning and purpose and fulfillment that exists on this earth and in this life, then leadership is for you. Hopefully you know that and understand that. If not, maybe there's just a little bit more maturing that you have to do. But that is a universal truth that everybody comes to a conclusion of. So we're going to jump into it. So there's three things that are vital for good leadership based on my experiences and based on other people that I've listened to and leaders in my life that have helped me out a ton, such as Simon Arias. Number one, you remember whenever you were growing up and you wanted to really do something, right? You're like, hey, I really want to get this from the store, or hey mom, can I have this thing from the store? And she goes, no. And you go, why? She goes, because I said so, right? You already thought of it. Because I said so, right? You can't have it because I said so. That is the position that so many bad leaders lead from. No, you can't do this thing because I said so, and I'm the leader and you're not the leader. The reason why people do that is because, yeah, they're bad leaders, but also because they're being lazy. They're being lazy. So as a leader, or as a potential leader, you should never lead from the position of power saying you can't do XYZ thing because I said you can't do XYZ thing. That's very poor leadership, and that's because you lack this point right here, which is relationships with your people. I want you to imagine this. A relationship is the bridge that allows you to be able to positively influence somebody else's life. A relationship is the bridge that allows you to positively influence somebody else's life. If you don't have the relationship with them, then you cannot reach across into their life and then have some sort of positive impact or influence on them. The main reason why that is fundamentally because people do not care about how much you know or how great you are or your accomplishments or XYZ until they know about how much you care. People don't care about how much you know until they know about how much you care. If somebody understands that you care about them and that you're truly trying to help them accomplish their goals and their visions in life, then they're going to listen to you wholeheartedly, especially if you're a person worthy of being listened to, in your advice on how to properly achieve XYZ goal. They're going to wholeheartedly listen to that. But if they feel like that you don't have their best personal interest because you can't even give enough time and effort to build a relationship with them, they're never going to listen to you. And if they do listen to you, it's going to be out of spite, and it's going to be out of the fact that you are in a higher position to them, and it's going to worsen your relationship with them. So the number one thing is you have to get relationships with your people. You have to care about your people. You don't have to love them all the time. Part of relationships is going up and down, up and down, up and down. A lot of times whenever you're in the down of a relationship, that allows for you to strengthen and grow closer, so that way the up is even higher. But you have to care about your people, and you have to grow relationships with them to be able to positively have that influence and impact in their life. Number two, the second most important thing for leadership is leading the hardest person to lead, is what that says. All right. The hardest person to lead is yourself. So you need to be able to lead with relationships, and also you need to be able to lead the hardest person to lead, which again is yourself. Here's why you're the hardest person to lead. First of all, if you go ahead and tell somebody, hey, wake up at 5 a.m., hit the gym because I said so, or whatever. You tell someone to go ahead and hit the gym, whatever. If you tell someone, hey, you have to get better at something, that's really easy to do. It's really easy for me to go, hey, you got to get better at this thing. What's really hard to do is for me to go, hey, I need to get better at this thing. I need to go wake up at 5 a.m. Ooh, now I got that responsibility, right? The hardest person to lead is yourself, but is essential, because if you do not lead yourself, then you will not be able to pour into and develop the people that you are trying to lead. There's a universal law, which is the law of the lid regarding leadership. And it basically states that if you're a 10 out of 10 person, then you're able to lead people to be 10 out of 10 people, because that's your lid. That's what you've accomplished. But if you're a 5 out of 10 person, then you're able to lead people to only becoming a 5 out of 10. The problem is people will think as a 5 out of 10 person that they can lead 10 out of 10 people, or they wonder why they don't get 10 out of 10 results even though they're a 5 out of 10 person, because you're not spending enough time developing yourself, pouring into yourself, and doing the things that you don't want to do in order to be able to get better, in order to be able to lead other people efficiently. This right here is disrespectful to your people if you don't do this. If you want to be able to, if you have people in your team that have 10 out of 10 aspirations and you can't even pick up the slack of yourself in your own life to be able to lead yourself up to a 10 out of 10 level, then you don't deserve to lead people that have 10 out of 10 aspirations. You only deserve to lead people that are looking to be able to get led to the level that you are at. You have to be able to lead yourself before you can lead others, and that all is based on the law of the lid and what capacity you are able to grow to, okay? So pour into yourself, lead yourself. That's the hardest person to lead. That needs to be happening daily, right? Third law of leadership. It's a good thing I wasn't a teacher or anything. If you can read that, that right there is perfect handwriting. All right, perfect handwriting. All right, cool. So you have to lead others to their goals first. Okay, if you take the approach of leadership, you need to wipe this from your brain. If you take the approach of leadership okay, great, I'm gonna get him to do this, I'm gonna get him to do this, I'm gonna get her to do that, that way I'm able to do this, then you're not leading people out of their best personal interest, therefore you are actually manipulating people. However, if you lead people based on they really want to accomplish this because they want to retire their mom, they really want to accomplish this because they want to get a new car, and she wants to accomplish this, that way she can take care of her kids and her family. And if you put their goals first and you help them hit their goals based on what they're trying to do, and you help lead them to that, now you are motivating them and you are truly displaying leadership, opposed to what we said the first time, which is manipulation. If you put yourself first, it's manipulation. If you put others first, it's motivation. Okay? You always have to look at others and their situations first and help them hit their goals, which you also have to get out of them first in order to be a successful leader. There's an old quote: if you help somebody climb a mountain, then you will look back at the end of it and you will see that you had also climbed a mountain. Right? That's good. How do you help somebody hit their goals? You have to get their goals from them first, right? So a true sign of somebody that's helping somebody instead of hurting somebody is that you get their goals out of them, and then that way you're able to get a day-by-day actionable steps and plans in order for them to be able to hit their goals. The problem with leaders, such a big problem with leaders, is that they won't even ask the person what their goals and what their visions are. And that's how you know that you're not leading from a place of motivation. If you don't know what your people's goals and visions are, how can you lead from a place of motivation? You don't even know the target that you're trying to hit. The only target that you know that you're trying to hit is your own goals, which is, again, manipulation. So lead others to their goals first. That obviously starts with getting their goals. And then there's definitely a lot else that goes into that as well, like patience and having gratitude for your people, and also being able to help them chart that course by being able to provide guidance, probably because you've done it personally yourself as well. The best leaders are the best players. That is everything I have for leadership. Again, these three things: relationships, leading yourself, and then helping others hit their goals first, are three huge tenets for leadership. Remember, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. So if you want to have influence and impact on other people in this life, which is truly the only thing that you can leave behind in this life is impact, influence, and legacy, then you need to become a top level leader. If you found this useful, leave a comment below. If you disagree, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think. Also, my Instagram is below @MarshWine. You can go ahead and click on that and check out my Instagram page. There's a whole lot more of content on there. Appreciate you. Peace.